So I'm here at LEF today, where we've just concluded a panel on biofuels, really focusing on, European impact of policy changes, policy announcements, what that means for the market, investment and pricing as well. So some of the big developments really, we've had the German kind of draft legislation where you don't get double counting for Annex 9A feedstocks. And that's really had an impact on pricing, where renewable diesel pricing has increased significantly. You've also seen the premium of renewable diesel from Annex 9A feedstocks increase significantly over the renewable diesel from the Annex 9B or the waste feedstocks as well. We're also talking about how we've had the first year of the ReFuelEU aviation policy and what that's meant as well. Definitely been some challenges, some of the mismatches around the policy and the EU ETS, what that means from the aviation perspective and how using the SAF to meet that policy is so important as well. We saw a huge increase in SAF prices going into Q4 of 2025, where a combination of late buying ahead of the end of that kind of first compliance year, coupled with restricted exports from China, where we hadn't really seen those export licenses given for the neat SAF, and some planned maintenance around that period, saw premiums to jet go over $2,000 a metric ton, compared to where they were much earlier in the year, kind of April, May, where you saw almost negative production markets. So it's really been quite a volatile price landscape for European SAF over 2025. I think it'll be interesting to see kind of this year if some of those kind of buying patterns will change to adapt to that end of year compliance period. We talked a little bit more about feedstock risk, what those supply chains look like. If you're dependent on imports from Southeast Asia, for example, what's that risk to your supply chain? What does that mean from a price perspective, both short term and long term? Is the trajectory for biofuels pricing only upwards? And finally, we talked a little bit about eSAF. So is eSAF the answer to the question of there not being enough biogenic or waste-based feedstocks? We haven't reached FID for any European facility despite the sub-mandate, which is really not that far away. So the question becomes, are these facilities going to be built in time for us to meet that eSAF sub-mandate? Or will there be some developments and some changes? Do there need to be some changes as well? So it's a really fascinating landscape, and it's a very dynamic landscape as the member states look to ratify RED III, and how that's really going to see an increase in biofuels demand really across Europe.